Thanks for joining us for another one of our financial education webinars. We're going to be looking today at the subject of workplace financial wellbeing, and I'm pleased that we're joined by one of our partners who work with us already at Commsave. This issue of financial wellbeing in the workplace has become increasingly important and recognised in recent years, so it's great to have the opportunity to discuss that here today. I'm joined by Helen McGowan from Travis Perkins. Helen, thanks very much for joining us. Maybe could you take just a moment to introduce yourself and your role at Travis Perkins? Tell us a bit about yourself and the company.
Sure, yeah. So my name's Helen McGowan. I'm Group Benefits Manager at Travis Perkins PLC. We're a group of around 16,500 colleagues providing building materials and construction materials to the industry, and we're made up of a variety of different businesses under that umbrella.
Fantastic, thank you very much. So we've got I think quite a wide-ranging discussion planned out. So I thought maybe start by looking at, from your perspective as an employer, why has financial wellbeing become such a priority over the last few years?
So financial wellbeing, James, impacts a number of areas. So it's not just about the finances of our colleagues and educating them. There's a wider wellbeing issue. If people are worrying about money, that leads to stress, which can then impact them in doing their job. And many of our colleagues use heavy machinery such as forklift trucks, HGVs that they're driving, and if they're worrying about their finances, that can impact their concentration and it could cause accidents. So there's a health and safety risk to our branch colleagues.
Okay, so would it be true to say, I think, that financial wellbeing has become part of that kind of wider wellbeing piece? I think it feels like historically companies have always been aware of physical wellbeing with cycle to work schemes, things like this. Mental health has become an increasing issue in perhaps the last decade or so, and it feels like financial wellbeing is the third plank of that strategy that employers are looking to put in place.
It kind of is, and I remember a few years ago when wellbeing kind of became a thing and it was split into separate pillars, but I think they're all now really intrinsically linked. So we actually include cycle to work as part of our financial wellbeing because it enables people to get a bike, pay through salary sacrifice, which saves them money, and at the same time it's helping their physical and maybe mental well-being as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. So what are the biggest financial challenges that you think employees are struggling with today?
I think at the moment, obviously, there's the huge cost of living pressures, and I think there's more pressure on the companies to try and help colleagues through crises such as we've got at the moment with the higher fuel prices. Cost of shopping is going up, and I think the more we can explain to colleagues how they can use our varied benefits offering to help their financial well-being, but to help them save money and then reduce that stress as well.
I think it perhaps also there's something around helping people kind of build confidence to be able to take financial decisions and actually use those facilities.
Yeah, and I think that's where Commsave have really helped us with the education piece and being able to give people more confidence in money matters and financial well-being generally, because it's not all about telling people you must save X amount of pounds per month from your pay. It's giving them the opportunity to do so and to allow them to be more confident with their money. And I think that really is something Commsave are helping us with at the moment.
That's great. So following on from that, what role do you think employers play in supporting their workforce financially? What are the kind of levers that you can pull?
I mean, whilst it would be lovely to be able to give colleagues more money, often that's not the case. And with 16,500 colleagues, you know, even a small amount can have a real big financial impact on the company. But I think it's all about signposting, giving them the access to benefits and to financial education, salary deducted savings, maybe consolidation loans as well to help reduce any financial burden. If they're paying several different loans, those monthly payments can add up. Whereas with Commsave, they can consolidate and bring all those payments into one easily manageable monthly payment.
Sure. And it feels like there's probably something of a virtuous circle, I suppose, in terms of employers are likely to be a trusted source of information for employees to go to. So it does help them, but it also then further reinforces that relationship between employer and employee.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're able to provide that help.
Yeah, I think if colleagues trust the employer, and they know whilst we can't outwardly recommend something, they know that by having Commsave on our benefits portal, that it is something that we're comfortable with them using, and we know that they're not going to loan sharks, payday loans and all that kind of thing, which, you know, carries its own risks as well, because once they start down that spiral, it just escalates and it just continues, and before they know it, they just can't manage.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you've already touched on parts of my next question, but what initiatives have you implemented or seen work well in workplace financial wellbeing? What kind of things are you seeing from the employer end?
Yeah, so we've got a number of colleagues that are actually saving now for rainy day savings, even if it's only a small amount per month, just trying to encourage them to save, to have enough money there for those little emergencies. You know, you never know when your washing machine's going to break down or you need a new tyre on your car. So to have that saving there that they can call back on is really, really helpful. And we just promote the whole financial education piece as well with the Commsave app and the website, and it's all accessible through single sign-on from our benefits portal, so it's really, really easy for colleagues to get to.
Yeah, I think that definitely feels like it's been a significant development
real
for us over the last year.
Yeah, there's really been an uptake in the use of Commsave since we launched that.
That's great. I think one of the other elements to this perhaps is that an employer is always well placed to support, because they'll be able to provide facilities for staff across all age ranges, for example, from maybe younger people who haven't yet really got into the savings habit, through to people that are perhaps approaching retirement, starting to need a bit more specialist pensions advice, that type of thing. What does TP do in those kind of areas?
Yeah, so we've got a massive age range from 16 up to well over 75 into their 80s for some of the colleagues we've got, and it's been really, really pleasing to see that we've got over 3,000 colleagues that are regularly saving, and the savings pots they've accumulated in a total across that population is over £6 million. So I think that is really, really encouraging that they are becoming in control of their money. And also with having the education piece and the guidance that's on the Commsave website and app is helpful to those younger people who probably don't want to think about pensions, and you really need to encourage them to try and start saving for, you know, just for those rainy day savings pots. But also at the other end of the spectrum, we've got the older population who are getting towards their retirement. So we've got a really good in-house pensions team where they support our colleagues, and they're available for any colleagues to go to with questions. But we're also supported by our pension provider through their various webinars and on-site events that we do with colleagues. So yeah, there's really a lot that we are doing across all age ranges in the group.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I think certainly one thing that I kind of wish I'd had maybe 25, 30 years ago, longer than I probably care to remember.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, you do feel like you find out about these things often too late, so it's great that that's in place.
Yeah, you do.
So as an employer, clearly you're going to be conscious of wanting to know the impact of all the measures that you're putting in place to support your teams. How do you measure whether your financial wellbeing initiatives are working and having the kind of impact that you would like?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we really do need to get better at, James, because at the moment we're not particularly great at doing that. Now, we know that since we launched Commsave that the uptake has been really good. We know that more people are saving and more people are using Commsave services since we launched the benefits portal and the single sign-on. But what we haven't yet got to grips with is measuring that against absences, stress levels, mental health cases, long-term sick. So that is something that we are trying to get to grips with, and we're looking at ways of how we can get better at measuring that.
Yeah, so I suppose it's one of those things that's you would kind of instinctively understand there's going to be a connection between somebody being able to save regularly and you know, better mental health in terms of less financial stress.
Yeah.
But it's kind of how do you then put the measures in place to be able to kind of prove that, I suppose.
Yeah,
is
that's right.
Is that the stage you're at?
It's looking at the data, where we can get those various data points from, how we can connect them with the Commsave data that we receive every quarter. And, you know, as I've said before, it's really encouraging that the data we are getting from Commsave is really, really informative, and it just shows across the board what the usage is of all the different sorts of loans, all the savings pots.
Yeah, oh, that's fantastic to hear. And that leads me on to another question, I guess, in terms of why do partnerships with organisations like ours work for you as an employer?
So I prefer, and my colleagues in the reward team all prefer, the partnership approach. So I think it's working together to develop what we offer as on the benefits side, but also to help our partners in developing their technology. So as you know, we worked with Commsave to set up that single sign-on, and I think we were the first company to actually do that.
Yeah.
And that will obviously help Commsave in the future. And we operate the same approach with lots of our providers. We're working with them on their technology, making suggestions. We're open and honest, and I think that's the way forward, really. It's kind of feels like the modern way to do things, rather than sitting in the background to be told how something works, to being able to suggest to your partners that, oh, have you tried this? This might work better.
Yeah, I think that does feel like potentially one of the next steps in terms of where financial wellbeing in the workplace might go in the future. There could be opportunities to look at increasingly tailored support and potentially use of AI and things like this to be able to direct the support where it's most needed.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think one of the things that Commsave is particularly good at is having that kind of open house approach. So, you know, you're happy for people to email you directly, you're happy for people to phone, even to drop in the office, which, being in Northampton where our head office is and a number of our branches are, is really, really helpful to colleagues. It makes such a difference to have that approach rather than a generic help desk where you press option 1 for this and option 2 for that. It's just so much better to talk to a person that can actually help you with your individual requirements.
Yeah, I think definitely not having to go through endless kind of phone menus and options is certainly, you know, you want to speak to somebody at the end of the day. Travis Perkins is obviously a very recognisable national brand. You've got employees spread right all over the UK. What kind of methods do you have? What type of ways do you use in terms of letting people know those benefits that are there for them?
Yeah, so with such a large number of colleagues, it can be difficult. A lot of the population are also offline, so they don't traditionally log onto a laptop. But the new benefits portal that we launched in September last year has got a brilliant facility where we can target specific cohorts. So whether that by age or eligibility for a particular benefit or just all colleagues. And we can send emails via that, which they can then view on their phone with their work email account or via the benefits portal. We also do business conferences that Commsave have attended in the past where we can share details. And a lot of our branches are now starting to have workplace boards or wellbeing boards where we can send them digital content that they can download, print off and put onto the notice boards and share with all the teams in each branch. So we really do get the word of the benefits out there. And also we've recently recorded some videos to promote certain benefits to colleagues, and we'll be sharing those very soon on the benefits portal.
Yeah, I think that's really positive, having that message across different formats to suit different kind of perhaps learning styles and preferences about how people want to find out about these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And we often run webinars as well, and in particular tying in with various awareness weeks like Mental Health Awareness Week. We've got some things planned for that as well.
Excellent. I suppose in terms of like a closing reflection, if you were speaking to other employers, what kind of advice would you give them in terms of starting out on their financial wellbeing journey?
I think look at all the various providers first, obviously. See what they offer. There are, I mean, for me, I do like the credit union approach. I like the different savings accounts. I like the fact that the profits and the dividends go to the members. The fact that you're a local company to where our head office is, and all over the country there are credit unions there. And it's just looking at your demographics as well. Maybe do a survey. So that was where our financial wellbeing journey started, was back in 2017. And we surveyed all our colleagues, not with any direct questions, but just generally probing questions to really gain an insight into financial wellbeing and how educated they were, how much they knew about savings, loans and all that kind of thing. And that really, really helped us on our journey.
Excellent. Well, I mean, we've been working together now for, just over 2 years since we first went live, and we've got more than 1,000 TP colleagues already as members, so hopefully that's something that we can continue to work together on and, you know, advance further over the next few years too. Yeah,
I think so. And also it does help that, I mean, we have business conferences during the first part of the year, and it really helps that Commsave staff are available, they're able to go to site, but we've also got a lot of collateral there, digital help for people that we share with them, and we often run webinars around all the different benefits.
Perfect. I think that's been really useful, Helen. Thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you, James.
I'm really grateful for all the insights that you've shared with us.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody that's joined and watching this recording. A big thank you to Helen from Travis Perkins for being our guest today on Commsave Conversations. We'll continue to explore topics like this through our Commsave Conversations videos. Don't forget to like this video, leave us a comment and subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified about future videos. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time.